Hello and welcome back to Galactic Reviews.
Hey!
And we just got done watching season 3, the final season of The Bad Batch. So initial thoughts. I had high hopes for this show initially.
hmm
And it's been downhill since the first season, but it hasn't been horrible. Just hasn't been that great. So hold on. You ever feel like you gotta sneeze and then it never happens? Anyway, this season has been probably about the most boring of the three seasons. And that's sad to say because I really didn't care that much for the first two. This one was probably the most boring. It was just a lot of it was filler, and then when it came to the ending, there was no real hook for the audience. Nothing really
No.
going for the audience on that front.
I mean, the only thing that we really got out of this show was the fact that Omega has the count to be a Jedi.
Yeah, I don't know
That's
how.
the only thing you need to know,
I don't
I
feel
feel
that.
like.
I don't like how that. Well, I don't like how that is because it's Dave Filoni, and so we might be seeing Omega later on in something else.
Like live action.
Yeah,
Uh, Dave, you just created practically he just created what's it called? He created another Ahsoka pretty much, I feel like.
hmm did it
So,
with Sabine.
yep.
It's ridiculous. This guy, the characters he kills off are characters that fans like, and the characters that he doesn't like, that he makes more important than they should be, are characters that fans don't really care that much for.
Yeah.
So
You know what, Peyton, I'll preach this. They should have killed off Wrecker.
yeah,
If this is truly the final episode of Bad Batch, they should have killed off Wrecker.
I don't think this is the final episode of these characters, but like too many of them survived. Because that also
If
then
they
brings
are
up the
going
question:
to
why aren't they there helping Rex? Why aren't they at all involved? Why isn't any of those clones involved? Why is it only Rex, Gregor, and Wolf that are involved? This opens a can of worms as far as continuity's
why
sake, and I
does my
know
dad keep ignoring me?
that is another problem entirely. The honest response is obviously they didn't think about these characters beforehand, so they're not involved. We get that, but they didn't think about this as far as like how continuity would take this. It's not in line
hmm
with continuity, and this is something that he's done multiple times, especially with Ahsoka. So I'm not at all surprised that it's also going to be here. But now this just begs more questions that are probably never going to get answered.
Yeah, I was actually gonna bring up there's just
Like
so
if
many
Omega,
questions that I have with this show.
what happens to Asajj Ventress? Why is she just making
Yeah.
one episode appearance? Does she ever?
Yeah.
Why is if
Is
Omega
Assange is
is
she alive for no reason? Probably.
probably because they apparently killed her off in a decent way in the book that was actually canonized until until that
Oh,
episode,
but
and
we
then
gotta keep moving the canon.
yep. Then after that, there was. It also brings up the thing about Wrecker, um, Hunter, and Crosshair. Why aren't any of those three involved in helping Rex? Biggest one is where is the frick is Echo? Echo seems to be the one that's the most keen on helping Rex in this whole scenario, and yet he's not helping him out at all.
Well, it seems to
Also,
me
this
he's
then
in
has
love.
with his sister.
Probably.
She's never Emery is never explained at all, other than oh yeah, she's a clone.
He's also in love with his sister.
Emery is just thrown in there for some reason, never
Yeah.
explained. Omega is
Nope.
never really explained. She's just a clone that is force sensitive. That could have been interesting, could have been fun. Never explains why she's female,
Nope.
like why they made specifically a female clone.
That is force sensitive.
Yes. Well, they probably didn't try to make her force sensitive. They
She
just
just happened to
attempted.
be.
Yes, usually the force just chooses. They can't really manipulate it, even though in the Legends canon They apparently now can, but that was never the
You,
case.
but we got to move the canon.
Yeah, well, in the current Disney canon, apparently you can just manipulate metachlorians out the wazoo for whatever reason, whereas in Legends continuity, one of the characters that was like the secret apprentice of Darth Vader, he dies, and then they try to clone another. Then they try to clone him and have a force sensitive version of him, but they have to do it like 1,000 times because 1,000 of them aren't force sensitive. So like they have to clone him, grow him, see if he's force sensitive, and then kill him off. Clone him, grow him, see if he's force sensitive, and they do it like a
That would
thousand
have been
times.
so much more darker, and
No,
I feel like that would have been cooler.
The Force Unleashed is so. I think it's the Force Unleashed too. That from what I've remember on the cutscenes, because I want to read the book. From what I remember of watching the cutscenes, it is that's one of the struggles the clone goes through. So, like knowing that feeling guilt, survivor's guilt, because he's the one that survived when all of his brothers essentially didn't. So
And
it's
that would have been such a good story.
yeah. Tech actually died, which I'm actually kind of surprised and yet
I am
pissed
too,
off
yeah.
about because Tech was the one of the few characters I actually liked in this show, and they killed him all.
Because you could relate to him.
No, because he's actually a good character. He didn't bend at every whim with Omega. He actually kind of pushed back a lot. Like Hunter and Wrecker and even Echo at times was just going with whatever Omega said. Tech actually kind of provided some pushback, and even though it never really went anywhere, Tech actually showed some difference of opinion. So
Tech was smart.
no, the writer is not. They're following a kid. Veterans are following the orders of a kid that has no battle experience prior to this. Explain. And they did not.
Women.
That's pretty much what Star Wars has become. So
I can't wait for Star Wars to become Women Wars.
it would be mostly peaceful except for every once a month. Anyway, I did not like this show. I did not like this season. I think for the season, probably going to give it a 4, and I'll probably give the whole show overall probably a 4 as well. It just wasn't that good.
I think that's honestly generous.
Yeah, because if I was to think more about it, like as far as like what it could have been, Legends content, what Legends had that they could have used at its disposal, what this show could have been, I'd probably take it down to like a 2 or 3 overall, just
I
because it
was gonna
was.
say I was honestly gonna go with 3.
Yeah, I'll change it to 3. I'm disappointed with the show. I don't hate it, but I'm very disappointed at what the show could have been and what it became. And it honestly just sucked. So,
I feel like we're like the mothers. We're like, oh, I'm so disappointed in you.
so what about you? What you have any gripes, complaints, praises?
3, just because like, why are there so many questions in this show?
So
Like
that,
we could have had a good ending with the show,
yeah.
but there's just so many questions. For example, where is Omega going? When will we see her next?
Well, she says she
What?
goes to join the rebellion.
That's stupid.
Yeah, well, now that's another force sensitive person that's joining the rebellion that we don't see at all. So that apparently
But
must have been
she,
there during A New
but she
Hope.
joins, but she joins the rebellion, and we never see her.
Yeah.
That's what I don't get.
No, you're not supposed to. See, because he doesn't think these things through. He just wants to tell a story and doesn't care about continuity.
Yeah,
Even if the story doesn't even
but
make any
like,
sense, he wants to tell it.
but like
That's
with Omega, where will we see her next?
probably in Ahsoka season 2.
I don't wanna.
I
Do you
mean,
think
he
we'll see the
put
Bad Batch?
no. We'll just see it Omega. Because who needs men in in a show where they
I'm
can't even
upset.
get Thrawn right?
I liked it. No, I did not.
I was very hopeful early on because I was like, this is a show about
I I wish we got
hardcore
more of like,
clones.
yeah,
And like, there's so many problems. Like the one of the biggest problems is the chip. The chip is one of the biggest problems in this thing because at points it is used and then all of a sudden it's forgotten about. Like they can't just use the chip at any point again. It's only used for Order 66. Does it have like a one use, get like one use and that's it? Like the organic chip that's in the clone's head, that's like that's never explained at all. The only ones that we know that take it out um are Rex and the rest of the Bad Batch. So are all the other clones that are on that island basically just nukes ready to go off if they get an order from the Emperor? Like that's never explained. Does Omega have a chip? I think that was said she doesn't, but it's never explained why she doesn't. I think she just doesn't because,
women.
yeah, basically. The show tries to be clever and it's not. I am thankful that they actually, when they kill off a character in this one, they actually killed him off. Like they didn't bring him right back in. I'm pissed off that it's a character I like, but I'm also thankful that he's actually killed off a character and didn't bring him back. Think he's learning, but it's progress, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I was completely expecting him to bring Tech back, and he did not. So,
I thought it was
because I thought it was hinted at most of the season, and he didn't. And I was like, okay, well,
yeah, I thought he was gonna come back too, but he didn't.
at least he did that. At least he did that. That's the one time where I'm like, you could have done it, and I would have been okay with it. But at least it's progress. I just hope you do the same thing for when like Omega dies.
You know for sure she's staying alive.
No, she is. It's a woman. Sabine can get basically the same injury as Qui-Gon Jinn, yet she can get healed just like that. Even though she's like missing part of her intestines, stomach, liver. But forget about it.
You know what? Well, Payson, you know what they say. Women.
I mean, she got it. The Grand Inquisitor got the same thing. Reva got it twice and survived. Fennec Shand was left for dead after being shot in the stomach, and yet 10 hours later, she's then found by Boba Fett and brought back to life somehow. It's a whole bunch of bullcrap. So, yeah, 3 out of 10s for this season and I guess the show. Let us know whether or not you agree or disagree with this in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And hopefully Dave Filoni doesn't screw this franchise up any more than he already has. And we'll see you next time on Galactic Reviews.
Bye.